Today I'm going to teach you how to create this awesome ice spell for your game that your character can blast. I'm Kushal. If you're new to the channel, I've been scripting my own Roblox games and teaching Roblox scripting for almost 10 years. Alright, so the first thing you want to do is hop into Studio and then create your part. So this is going to be our actual ice spell. And to do that, you're going to click on Home, click on Part, and then boom, here's my part. And we're just going to start with a basic part for now. So let's just turn this into a ball. So go into shape. And first, actually, if you don't see this properties window or this explorer, maybe your studio looks like this. Just go over to view, explorer properties, and now you should be able to see it. All right, perfect. So now I want this thing to basically take the shape of a ball. So my ice blast is going to be a ball, and then when that ball travels and then it hits something, it's going to basically explode, and then we're going to put them into an ice cube. All right, perfect. So now go over to this part and scroll down on your properties window. Look for this thing called shape, and then we're going to set this shape to a ball, and then scroll up, and then look for this thing called brick color. Click it, and then choose like an icy brick color. So I'm going to choose, maybe I'll choose pastel light blue, or maybe I would choose, let's see, what do we have? Okay, I think I like this pastel blue. So just make your part look like mine, basically. And then click on the part and then get this material, select ice. So boom, now if you zoom in, you can see now it's kind of like an icy ball. So if you got this far, great job so far. I'm really proud of you for choosing this video and deciding to learn scripting today. And we're going to make sure that we create something awesome by the end of this video. All right, perfect. So now that you have your ice ball, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to set on anchor to false. So basically I'm going to uncheck this, and then I'm going to click home. I'm going to click on run. And this is just to make sure that this ball is working. So now if I try to move this ball up, you can see it bounces. So I'm just trying to move this ball up, and gravity is taking this down. I just want to make sure that it behaves like ice. So maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to play, and then I'm going to see if I can kick this ball around just so it behaves like ice. Boom. There we go. Okay, there we go. So now my icy ball is rolling. Perfect. All right, so select your ball and then make sure it's anchored so that now when you click home and then you click on run, this ball doesn't move. And the reason for that is because of this right here. Because what we're actually going to do is we're going to make it so that when we use this attack, we want this ball to appear like right here, or maybe like right where our hand is. And then we want this ball, we want to cast it so that it goes like this, and then it goes wee all the way down. And then when it touches something, it goes boom, explodes, and then turns them into an ice cube. So now that we have our ball, let's actually rename this. So I'm going to call this ice ball. And then I'm going to put this inside a replicated storage. And now make sure you follow these next instructions very carefully, otherwise you could run into some issues. So look for starter pack, click on this plus sign. You're going to click on tool, and then you're going to rename this tool to maybe ice blast. And then now I want you to, so inside of properties, I want you to uncheck this thing called can be dropped, and then uncheck this thing called requires handle. So this is going to basically allow us to detect when the player uses this tool. So what is this tool really? Well, if you click on play, you can see that right here, we now have our ice blast. So this right here is the tool. So the thing that we added into starter pack, the ice blast, is now appearing here, because whenever a player joins the game, what Roblox does is Roblox literally takes any tool inside of a starter pack and then throws it into your backpack. So like if I unequip this, you can see right here, there's the ice blast. So basically whenever any player joins the game, as soon as they join the game and their character loads, Roblox takes this thing and then puts it into their backpack. It basically clones it and then puts it into their backpack. And that's how we have the ice blast right here. So boom, I have my ice blast, and if I click, nothing happens yet because I haven't scripted it. Oh yeah, also, I think you guys noticed this, but my character is a little bit destroyed, and that's because I've been working on an update. Well, I've been working on a feature for Elemental Adventures, which is basically going to be these statues, which are kind of look like that. All right, so now I want you to add a script inside of this ice blast, and then you can just, you don't have to rename this. So now what we want to do is we want to detect when this thing gets used. So just follow what I do. So I'm going to say local tool equals script.parent. So basically here I'm saying, let the tool be the parent of the script. In other words, this is the script. So this part right here is that thing right there. And then parent is the thing that comes above it. So as you can see, this script, its parent is Ice Blast. All right, so now let's detect when this tool is actually used. So tool, whoop. Okay, so tool.activated connect function. So right here, this basically means when the tool gets activated, do this. Okay, so now when the tool gets activated, let's actually make sure it works. So I'm gonna say print tool got activated. And then now view output. This is gonna make sure that everything is working. So when I click play, now I'm gonna select my Ice Blast. And if I click, as you can see, it detected it. So every single time I click, tool got activated. Perfect. So if you struggle to get this working, don't worry, because chances are that your Ice Blast, so your tool, if you scroll down, make sure that your properties match mine. So the biggest thing is probably that you need this to be off and this to be off. So make sure that requires handle is off and manual activation only is also off. All right, so now that we've detected when the tool gets activated, think about what is next. What's next in our sequence? So the tool just got activated. Now we want this ice ball to basically show in front of our character, right? So that's what we're gonna do. So local ice ball. Okay, so this right here means let ice ball, this is a variable, be equal to game.replicated storage.iceball clone. So this part is that thing right there. And then we're cloning it. So this part means to clone that. So this part is that ice ball. This part means to clone it. So basically what clone does is it literally duplicates it. So it basically takes this and then clicks on duplicate. That's what clone does. And then we said, so this ice ball is now the cloned ice ball. So you see now we have two, right? This ice ball is that second one that we just cloned. And then now this part says, move the ice ball to workspace. So basically it does boom, it does that. And now you have your ice ball inside of workspace. So once again, what this does is this part clones the ice ball. So it does boom, boom. And then this part moves it to workspace like that. And then that whole thing, that happens whenever the tool gets activated. So now if I run this, or if I play this, if I equip this and then I click, boom, see that right there? There's the cloned ice ball. Remember, this is now a clone. So we have the original one here, but we're cloning it. And the reason we're cloning it is because we want to be able to use ice ball multiple times. Okay, perfect job so far. That's perfect so far, but I want this to appear in front of me. So what I'm actually going to do is let me first teach you about this one thing right here. So inside of your character, this is called your character. There's something called a humanoid root part. This thing is an invisible brick that's inside of your character. So if I just set this transparency to 0, you can see right there, that right there, this brick is called your humanoid root part. And if I move, this brick moves along with me. So what we want to do is we want to tell Roblox, okay, move that ice ball to wherever my humanoid root part is, but a little bit forward. So instead of like smack dab moving it inside of the humanoid root part, we want to move it a little bit forward, like maybe like over here. So that's what we're going to do next. So right now, this thing only puts it in workspace. What we want to do now is we want to say, first, actually, let's do this. So let me teach you about one other thing. So remember that this tool is inside of my backpack, right? So see this Ice Blast? It's inside of my backpack. Now, if I click this Ice Blast actually moves out of my backpack and then goes into my character. So see that right there? So if I unequip this, it's back in my backpack. If I equip this, it goes inside of my character. This is my character. If I unequip it, it goes back into my backpack. And if I re-equip it, it goes back into my character. So hopefully you guys can see now that isn't an easy way to get the character to just get the parent of the tool. So here's the tool. Remember, the parent is the thing that is enclosing it. So this is the parent. And we want this character because this character has the humanoid root part. So can't we just say, let the character be the parent of the Ice Blast? So let's actually try that. So tool is the Ice Blast. We can say local character is the parent of the tool. And then, so that right there, local character equals tool.parent means that thing right there. So this is my character. Remember, this is the tool. Oh, let me equip it first. This is the tool. The parent of the tool is my character. And then we want to put that ice blast into our humanoid root part. So the humanoid root part is inside of my character. So all I have to do to access it is say local humanoid root part equals character that humanoid root part. Bam. Okay. So we have the character, we have the humanoid root part. Now we just want to move this ice ball. So iceball.cframe equals humanoid root part.cframe times cframe.new003. So cframe is basically position and orientation. So we're saying set the position and orientation of this ice ball to whatever the position and orientation of the humanoid root part is. Remember, this is the invisible brick. And then instead of smack dabbing it right into the humanoid root part, we want to move it a few studs away. That's what this part is about. So this part means move it 3 studs away from the humanoid root part. And so now if you click this and then you click, boom. Okay, so instead of moving to the humanoid root part, we said 3 studs away. So that's why it's over here, but we don't want it to go behind us. We want it to go in forward, so in front of us. So take this 3, flip it into a -3, and now, boom. There's our ice blast right in front of us, and it's ready to get fired. All right, so before we continue, I did want to let you know that this tutorial is made for beginners, so I'm not really going to like dive deep into the intermediate stuff. So there's not going to be things like, you know, anti-exploiting, remote events, things that you'd actually want in like your actual game here. This is just a tutorial for beginners. Now, if you want something like that has remote events and customization and damages and all sorts of things like camera cutscenes and stuff, then you might want to check out this Axe Barrage that I made. Link is in the description, and here's how it works. So basically, here's the tool, Axe Barrage. You click on what you want to attack. Now, if you do want an awesome ice attack for your actual Roblox game, then you might want to check out this Axe Barrage. So here's how it works. You just click on the person that you want to target, and then boom, comes with its own cutscene, particles, effect. It's really cool, and it has a cooldown. So if you're looking for some sort of ice attack that you can use in your actual game, that has all sorts of things that you'd want in an actual game to like prevent players from spamming and stuff, then make sure you check out this Axe Barrage, link in description. It's fully customizable as well. All right, perfect. So let's continue this ice ball. So after you check out the Axe Barrage, let's look at this ice ball. So now we want to take this ice ball and we want to basically fling it, right? So right now, here's the ice blast. Boom, I click, there's the ice blast. And we want this ice ball to basically like fling, right? So we want to push this. All right, so to get this ice ball to actually move, there's 2 ways we can do it. Way number 1 is using physics, which is what we're actually going to do. And way number 2 is using C-frame tweening / linear interpolation. And I think that way number 2 is a little bit more complicated to explain. So we're just going to stick with way number 1, which is physics. So we're just going to make this work with physics. And here's actually how we're going to do it. So let me actually illustrate this first. So I'm just going to take my ice ball. You don't have to do this, but I just want to show you how this is going to work so that you guys are better prepared for when I actually script it. So right now it's anchored, and what we actually want to do when using physics is we want to unanchor it, because anchored basically stops all physics, and we want physics. So physics is going to be the thing that allows us to push this ball, and we're going to unanchor it. And then what we want to do is we want to look for this assembly linear velocity right here. Okay, so first let me actually show you what this is going to do. So it's unanchored, so now it's falling into the ground. So if you select, or actually if you go into assembly linear velocity, set this to 0, 0, 10, look at what happens. See, that thing is now rolling around, right? And since it's ice, it's actually going to roll for a while. So what we want to do is we want to use this assembly linear velocity, and we want to tell this thing to basically, so as you can see, it's continuing its rolling motion. We want to use assembly linear velocity, but we want to use it in the air. So we want this thing to basically like shoot from the player, and it's going to keep on going. So we want to do the thing that we just did, but we want to do it while it's in front of the player. And the thing is that when anchored is false, this thing is going to fall down. So if I try to move it up, as you can see, it's falling down, but we want it to stay in front of the player, right? All right, so I kind of want to explain this best I can so that you guys actually understand it. So basically, if this is the ball, then here's what's currently happening. So first up, we have gravity that's pulling this thing downward, right? So that's gravity. We're going to call this G. That's gravity. And then we also want this ball to move like this. So we're basically shooting it, right? It's going to go that way. So we want this ball, it's basically going to travel like this. We want this thing to travel like this. But the thing is that we have gravity pulling it downward. So instead, it's actually going to travel a little bit like this. So it's going to go a little bit to the right, and then it's going to start falling down, 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 down. It's going to hit the ground. We don't want that to happen. We want this to only go this way. Now, one way is you remove gravity, but then that's going to cause issues for every other part of your game. So the other way is you have to basically have another force that counteracts gravity. So we want another force that's going upward like this. And we can call this anti-gravity, I guess. So this is anti-gravity. And if you want to cancel out gravity, you need anti-gravity to be the same exact direction and strength of gravity, but you want anti-gravity to push upward. So you want to cancel out gravity, basically. So anti-gravity is going to push upward, gravity is going to push downward, and they're going to cancel out. And so when they cancel out, we can get this ball to go straight like this. But basically, gravity is going to be equal to the mass times g. And g is going to be the acceleration due to gravity. So basically, we have inside of here, you have gravity right here. Let me actually see what this is. Oh, okay, great. It's the acceleration due to gravity applied to falling base parts. Okay, great. So this is our g. So 196.2, that's our g in Roblox. So we're going to set that to 196.2. And then the mass of this ball, we can find this mass by clicking the clicking the ice ball. And then there's this property called mass. So that right there is the mass of this ball. And you can see it's set to 0.481. So this g right here, this part is equal to that number times that number. So basically, g is equal to 196.2 multiplied by 0.481. And let me actually figure out what that's equal to. Okay, so that's equals 94.3722. So that's going to be gravity. And then that means that we need our anti-gravity to equal that. That's the strength of gravity. So that's think about that. Think about this like that's how much gravity is pushing us downward. We want to push we want to push the ball upward. So if that's what gravity is equal to, then we need our anti-gravity, our AG, to be equal to that 0.3722. And if you want to get super technical, then you can say that the gravity is equal to, okay, where's my brush? Okay, there it is, to negative 4 or negative 94. And then we need anti-gravity to be equal to positive 94. So we want to cancel the two. So just to kind of show you that this is going to actually work, if you have gravity that's set to negative 94.3722, and then you're adding anti-gravity, which is set to the same thing, then you have zero. So this is gravity. Gravity is basically, that's the strength of gravity. It's going downward with negative 94.3722. And then you add the anti-gravity, which is going to be upward with 94.3722. That's going to give us 0 in the y direction. So basically, even if you weren't able to follow that well, that's okay. Just do what I do, basically. So add a vector force, set the attachment of the vector force to a new attachment. So set the attachment 0 to attachment, and then set this force equal to 94.3722. So that's going to be that number there. And then that should be good. And then select apply at center of mass. So remember, this is our anti-gravity. This is pointing upward. And then gravity is pointing downward. So this is going to cancel out gravity so that it stays in place. And then I'm going to rename this to anti-gravity. Okay, perfect. So now take this ice ball, move it into replicated storage. You can get rid of the other one. So now you should have your ice ball with the anti-gravity. And now we want to disable this anti-gravity until the tool has been activated. So basically iceball.antigravity.enable equals true. Okay, so here, let's actually, first let me comment out this part so you guys can see it. So I'm gonna click play, ice blast, boom, boom, see it fell, right? That's because of gravity. And now that we have our anti-gravity, we're gonna enable it. So this right here enables the anti-gravity. Now, equip, boom, see that right there? It's now staying in place. And why is this awesome? because we didn't have to use anchored for this. We didn't need this. So now even if it's unanchored, because of this guy right here, we have something pushing it upward and we have gravity pushing it downward, and they both are pushing at the same exact force. It's going to stay like that. And so this is really cool because now you can go into assembly linear velocity, set the Z to 5. Oh, okay, it bounced off my chest. But yeah. So that's basically what we're going to do next. So now iceball dot assembly linear velocity equals vector 0, 0, negative 5. And let's see what that does. Boom. There you go. And now it's starting to move. And then we want this to go faster. So set this to maybe 25. So let me kind of explain what we did here again. So we enabled anti-gravity. This allows it to not fall. And then we said, okay, start moving. And then this negative 25 basically means move in front of me. I think this is 25 studs per second. So boom, boom, and now it's moving. I think that's 25 studs per second. And there's our ice blast. Now it's moving. And then now let's actually make it move even faster. Maybe I'll do 100. Just so you guys can see it. Boom, bam. And there you go. Now that I think about it, I think I want to take this ice ball, change the material from ice to neon. So bam, that looks a little bit more magical to me. So now, boom, whoa, what happened there? Okay, let's try that again. Oh, I see, because the mass also changed. So when you change the material, the mass also changes. So the mass is now 0.367. So let me figure out what the math is for that. So basically, instead of the 0.481, now we have 0.367. So it should be set to 196.2 times 0.367, which is equal to, go over here, replace this with 72.005. So that's going to be the anti-gravity because now it's neon. So now it weighs a little bit less. And there you go. There's our ice blast and it works perfectly fine. Once again, this is how I would do it using physics for this video. The other way is using linear interpolation, C-frame lerping. And yeah, we're just going to stick with this for now. So now let's detect when this ice ball gets touched. So iceball.touched, connect function hit. Okay, so this part means whenever the ice ball gets touched. All right, so before we continue with this touched, I just realized that this uses a vector 3 definition. So basically we need this ice ball to go straight forward, depending on wherever we're facing. And the way that we have this written is that it's going to go negative 100 on the Z axis. So let me show you what that means. So if I use this and I'm facing this way, notice that it goes that way. If I use it and I'm facing this way, notice that it goes the same exact way, right? So we want this to actually go wherever we're facing. So we need to tell Roblox that this is the direction we're facing and to go in that direction. And the way we're going to do it is instead of saying go 0, 0, negative 100, because this is a specific direction, we need to tell it to go where we're facing. And where we're facing is basically this right here. So this right here is the look vector. So this is wherever the humanoid root part is facing. And so when you run this, now it's going in the direction that the character is facing. But as you can see, it's going really slowly. So we need to multiply this by like 200. So now, boom, way faster. Boom, there's our ice blast. It just collided. Okay, so now let's talk about this touch stuff. So I actually added this part. So the way that I did it was I clicked home, part, and then I just scaled it up. So this is going to be like the target for our ice blast so that we can test it. And so we have this part right here. So this is whenever the ice ball gets touched, hit is the thing that touched it. So just to demonstrate this, I'm going to print this. So just to demonstrate this, watch this. Ready? I'm going to use the ice blast. I'm going to face that way. Boom, bam. See that right there? Look at what it's printing. It's printing the part, which is the thing that it hit. And then it printed my humanoid root part because it bounced back, and it's literally printing everything that it hit. And yeah, it's doing crazy weird movements just because of everything that's happening right now. So what we need to do is we need to say, if that thing gets hit by something, then we need to basically destroy it. And first up, actually, let's do this part. So, actually, let's not do that. So we need to basically destroy the thing that touched it, which is hit. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do hit, destroy. So whenever the ice ball gets touched, we're going to destroy the thing that it touched. And first, let's just try this out. So ready, 1, 2, 3, boom. As you can see, it got rid of the block there. And actually, now that I think about it, I don't want to destroy the thing that it touched. I want to destroy the ice ball itself. So I'm going to destroy the ice ball after it gets touched. And that's when we'll do our explosion stuff. So now we're destroying the ice ball itself. So here we go. Take the ice blast. Boom, boom. So it touched it and then it disappeared. So once again, boom, boom. It's actually really fast. And so what we want to do is, actually, I'm going to make this 100 to make it a little bit slower. And what I want to do is I want to basically have an explosion there. So as soon as this thing gets touched, it goes bam. All right, so now I recommend that you guys watch my video. It's called Understand VFX Scripting with this video. So that's the video name, because what I'm about to do is I'm about to make an explosion similar to what I did in that video. And if you watch that video, then you will understand everything that I'm doing. So I recommend just pause this video, go over to that other video, and then watch it. So now I'm going to make the explosion. So I'm assuming that you've watched the video now. So I'm creating a part. I'm going to make it neon. I'm going to make it a ball. And I'm going to make this like blue. All right, so what we're going to do with this thing is we're going to make it grow. And so I'm going to call this explosion. I'm going to put this in replicated storage, and now we need to actually make it explode. So the ice ball is dead. Now we need to explode it. And the way we're going to do it is we're going to take the explosion that's in replicated storage. We're going to clone it. We're going to put the explosion in workspace. So this part clones the explosion. Like, oh, where's my duplicate? There's the explosion. It clones it. And then the other part, which is this part, it moves it into workspace, which is literally what we did with the ice ball. So that's what that does. And now we need to basically grow the explosion. So all right, so now this part is the actual growth process. And I'm going to assume that you guys know what this does just from the other video. Now, if you're confused about this plus equal to, it's the same thing as equals that plus that. So basically 50 times, increase the size by a little bit and increase the transparency. And that's all we're doing. So just make sure you watch that Understand Roblox VFX Scripting with this video and you'll understand this. And then I want to take the explosion, make sure it's anchored and can collide false. So make sure that this is checked and this is not checked. And now when you run this, let's see what it does. Boom. Oh, okay. So one thing I actually forgot was we need to do explosion.cframe equals hit.cframe. So remember, hit is the thing that it touched. So we're moving the explosion to wherever the thing that it touched is located. So now we're here. And then boom. Boom, see it right there? It was so tiny. Okay. And I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. So let's do maybe 500. Okay, see that right there? That's your explosion. And that was a little bit too slow. So maybe I'm going to do 100. Maybe I'll change this to 333. And maybe I'll change this to 100. That should make it a little bit faster. Boom. Okay, not bad. Okay, kind of like that. All right, so right now it's actually, the explosion is actually being located wherever the hit, like wherever the thing that it touched is located. But instead, I want the explosion to go wherever the ice ball used to be before it got destroyed. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to save the ice ball's position. So this is where the ice ball used to be. And then maybe I'll call this C-frame. And then now I'm just going to replace it with that. So we save where the ice ball used to be, then we destroy it, and then set the explosion to wherever the ice ball used to be. And now, boom, boom. See, right there. Now, wherever it collides is where the explosion happens. So if I jump and bam, oh. Okay, we'll have to fix that. So let me actually try making like a little tower. And then if I jump over it, it should not immediately explode like that. So I'm going to try to jump on this thing, and then we're going to try to... All right, let's try it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Yeah, so boom, perfect. So as you can see... Oh yeah, I know why this is happening. Because it's colliding with the explosion. We forgot to destroy it. So here's the explosion. Remember, this is the sphere that basically grew and went invisible. We need to destroy these guys, otherwise the ice ball, the ice blast collides with the explosions. So that's what we were missing. Okay, so we need to do an explosion destroy here. Now everything will work a lot better. So bam, 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 oh, bam, bam, perfect. And there is the ice blast. Now let me actually go over here, and then let me try it over here. So, boop, missed it. Okay, let's try again. Okay, this is actually harder than it. There we go. Perfect. And there you have it. There's the actual ice blast. And now I want to add a little bit of particles into this ice ball. So I'm going to take the ice ball, go into toolbox. Now look for like ice particle maybe. Let's actually see what we can find. So I'm going to take this sword. Let me see if I can yoink the particle from this sword. Oh, see that right there? It's like, what is that? Is that smoke? Oh, that's smoke. That's not ice. I don't want that particle. So basically, I'm just going to look for an ice particle that we can use. And maybe this one. That could work. That could work. All right, I'm going to take the attachment. I'm going to get rid of that. And then into our ice ball. Boom. Boom. All right. Now our ice ball is going to look like that. And what I might actually do is I might make this a little bit smaller. So I'm setting the size to 0.5. I'm going to set this to 0.75. There we go. Okay, there's our, I think I like that a little bit better. And then I'm just going to mess around with these other settings like light influence to get it to where I want it to go. I think that's fine. And then I want to crank up the brightness just because it's ice. Crank up the brightness here. And I think I like this. I think this looks decent. And then now I'm going to take my ice ball, put it inside a replicated storage. And then now our ice ball is going to have that effect. So now when I run this and then I click on, all right, boom. See that? Oh, I like that. Saw that? It had like a little trail because of the particle. Bam. Okay. Nice, nice, nice. I like it. Okay. Perfect, perfect, perfect. And then if you don't like this color, the specific color that I had, so I think this blue just looks a little bit off to me. I might make it cyan. And then I might change this color to become a little bit more... Actually, maybe we can do... All right, maybe I think I want to keep that color. And then for this, I want to change this color a little bit. Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm changing the properties of this little, these little drop things that are coming out. Now remember that this part is entirely optional to you, so you don't have to do this part if you don't want to. I'm just doing it because I think I like the way this is looking. Look at that. I like that blue. I really like that blue. Okay. So now I'm still just messing around with these properties, trying to get it to a point where I like it. You can do whatever you want with the properties. I just like it this way. So now I'm going to take my ice ball, put it there. And then for the explosion, I might choose a little different color. So maybe I want that one. All right. So ice blast, ready, set, boom. Bam. I like that. All right. That looks a whole lot better. So there's my ice blast. Boom. All right. So the last thing is we need the explosion sound. So let's actually do the explosion sound. And actually the last thing isn't the explosion sound. The last thing is going to be taking damage. So let's do the explosion sound now. So view, toolbox, go into audio. I'm going to look for an explosion. All right, let's see what I like. Maybe I want an ice explosion. Okay. Okay, I don't think you guys could hear that, so let me adjust my sound. All right, let's try that again. Okay, that's pretty good. All right, let's do this one. All right, so here's the ice explosion. I'm going to put it inside of the explosion, and let's see. Okay, I'm gonna take the explosion, set can touch to false, set can query to false, and now I think that's enough. So now what we're going to do is we're going to call this thing sound so that we know what sound to play. And then now we're going to do explosion dot sound play. And then this sound actually takes like 3 seconds. So I'm actually going to wait until the sound is complete. By doing like a test, I wait 2. All right, let's see what this does. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Oh. All right, let me fix this. All right, ready, set, go. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear that. Okay, ready, 1, 2, 3. There we go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right. So now what we need to do for the last part of this tutorial is we need to basically, if there's a noob or like some sort of player or some enemy, then if this ice blast touches it and the explosion happens, then we need it to take damage. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go over to Rig Builder. I'm going to use my avatar for now. And then I'm going to go over to Humanoid. I'm going to set the health display type to always on so we can always see the health. And then now I'm going to take this, I'm going to move it a little bit downward, and then now I'm going to move him like there facing me. So basically what we need to do is we need to say if the ice ball touches something, so maybe that ice ball is going to touch the humanoid root part or the upper torso, or like if it touches anything, like any one of these, then we need to find the humanoid. So the humanoid is the thing that has something called health, which is this thing right here. If you set this health to like 50, notice what happens right over there. So the bar automatically changes. So what we need to do is we need to say, if the ice ball touches something and that thing's parent has a humanoid, then take damage. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So for example, if the ice ball touches the upper torso, then we need to say, okay, the upper torso's parent, if that thing has a humanoid, then make it take damage. And so let's get that now. So hit is the thing. Remember hit? This is the thing that touched it. So if hit.parent has a humanoid, then, so this part is what I was talking about earlier. So if it hits like the lower torso, then the lower torso's parent is this. And then if that thing has a humanoid, then we need it to take damage. So hit.parent.humanoid, take damage. Maybe we want the damage to be like, I don't know, 40. All right, so let's actually try this out. Okay, let's do that. And actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this. I'm going to actually move it to over here. All right, let's see what this does. All right, I'm going to go over right here. 1, 2, 3. Okay, it one tapped it. So basically what happened there was instead of hitting one object, it was hitting multiple objects at the same time. So think about this for a second. When this ice ball gets touched, let's say that it touched the lower torso and the right hand. Then it touched both of these things. Then it's going to say, okay, well, does the lower torso have a parent that has a humanoid? Yes. And then does the right hand have a parent that has a humanoid? Then yes. Then it makes it take damage 42 times. So then it does 80 damage. We only want it to take damage 41 times. And so to make sure that that doesn't happen, that it doesn't like one tap it. So in the beginning, the ball has not touched anything. When the ball gets touched, if it has already touched something, then do nothing. Now, at this point, it has not already touched something. So now we're saying, okay, it's already touched something now. And then we do the rest of everything else. So this is called a debounce. I recommend that if you guys don't understand this, I recommend that you check out my door video. I think it has a debounce in there as well. That's what we're doing here. This is going to basically make sure that it doesn't hit this character like 50 times and just take crazy amounts of damage. So boom, boom, there we go. Now it's exactly 40 damage. And there you have it. And it will also work with this thing right here. So and everything will work perfectly fine. Perfect. And just to illustrate that it does work, again, I'm just going to create a whole bunch of these guys. And let's blow them up. Ice Blast. 1, 2, 3, go. Oh. Okay, let's go here. Alright, so as you guys can see, everything is working. Oh, this is going to be a little bit tricky. There we go. Oh, I think it's hitting the wrong thing. So now... Bam! And there you have it. There is the Ice Blast. Alright guys, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you for 20,000 subscribers. That's a lot of people to be subscribed to this channel. Thank you all for 20,000 subscribers. More tutorials coming up soon. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video.